Chapter 128, Thousands of Transformations Techniques and a Third-Grade Array Master. Other than Hai Duzi, this woman had become the person he wanted to kill the most. Swoosh, Azul flew out from the pile of meat taste, shocked and furious. She did not expect Song Shi's explosive power to be so terrifying. As he was too close, she did not even have the chance to resist before she was beaten into meat taste. Now that her physical body had been destroyed, without a vessel, her soul would not be able to live for long. Her path of cultivation had been severed. Even if she struggled at death's door, she could only become a ghostly cultivator and live in darkness in the future. She screamed, "What did I do wrong? Why didn't you let me absorb the pill? How dare you kill me? Even if I die, I'll let you die with me." As her soul formed a seal, the double ray formation she had set up here was activated. It shone brightly and directly aimed at Song Shi to kill him. A huge fire hand suddenly grabbed Liu Yu's soul and squeezed her with all its might. The moment Song Shi was attacked by the array formation, more than half of the soul was crushed. Boom! The power of the terrifying killing array landed on Song Shi. Array formations could activate more power of heaven and earth than an individual, not to mention two array formations attacking at the same time. After Song Shi's explosive power eruption, power of the Hidarigami contract rapidly weakened. Within expectations, he shattered on the spot. Next to where Song Shi had attacked Liu Yu, an even larger pit appeared. Rocks and dust flew everywhere, and countless cracks appeared in the entire cave. It was on the verge of collapse. Liu Yu let out an afflicted cry. Her shattered soul twisted and formed a remnant soul beside him. She smiled sinisterly and said, "Haha, you're dead. With such a violent array formation power, even your soul will be shattered." Although she was smiling, there was anger in her eyes. She scolded, "Stupid man, you didn't even let me suck you even if you die, but you let that B*TCHZ you off so easily." Jealousy and anger flowed in her eyes, causing her face to morph into a ferocious expression, making her look like an evil spirit roaring. "I can't die. If I can't become a human immortal, I want to become a ghost immortal and a ghost god." Liu Yu roared angrily. Now that her physical body was destroyed, there was no longer a limit to her lifespan. However, it was not her intention to be forced to walk the even more difficult path of a ghostly cultivator. After all, if she really embarked on it, she would never be able to reincarnate into a human again. In reality, she could also possess someone or reincarnate now. Unfortunately, she was in the Gobi Desert and could not find anyone to possess her. She would lose her memories when she reincarnated, so it was no different from death. You have been killed by a double ray formation. Your body and soul have been destroyed. The reward has been super doubled. Array formation level plus 120. Your array formation has reached first grade. You have absorbed strength from death and obtained 40 freedom attribute points. You will be resurrected in 3 seconds. No resurrection location set. Resurrection on the spot by default. You can choose an alternate resurrection point. Do you want to choose? Faced with the system notification, Song Shi naturally would not go to the alternative resurrection point. The matters here had not been settled yet. Ding, congratulations on being killed by a new target. You meet the motivation conditions. If you kill the target within the specified time, you will be rewarded with 1 chance to draw the lottery. Upon hearing this, Song Shi knew that Liu Yu's soul had not been completely destroyed by him. Otherwise, he would not have triggered this notification. In the crater, Song Shi had recovered to his peak state. Indeed, he saw Liu Yu's incomplete soul flying towards her intrinsic Dharma treasures. The essence energy in his body had already recovered to its peak with the help of the system. Song Shi did not hesitate to raise his hand and slap. His essence energy turned into a huge flaming hand and was thrown over. Now that he had reached the 9-yang realm, his 9-yang true essence was getting hotter and hotter. It was already comparable to the flames of a fireball. Moreover, his casual attack did not need any precasting movements. Just as Liu Yu was thinking of preserving her soul in her intrinsic Dharma treasures, she felt the scorching heat in the void. She turned her head in shock and saw Song Shi slapping at her from afar. Impossible! Liu Yu turned tail with fright. She could not believe that a person who had been killed by the array formation had come back to life. Furthermore, he looked completely unharmed. Boom! She was still half a foot away from her intrinsic Dharma treasures. When her soul was completely destroyed by the scorching essence energy, Sanchi landed in front of her intrinsic Dharma treasures and picked them up. He then turned around and burned Liyu's body. This woman's physical body was not as strong as Ziyu's, but it was still quite tough. It took a while for the fireball to burn her to ashes. After destroying the evidence, he kept all the valuables. After checking around, he found that he had eaten all the good things. Only a few spells and medicinal pills were not bad. The rest were tens of thousands of spirit stones and miscellaneous books. Among the spells, a special spell called the 1000 Transformation spell caught his attention. This spell could actually change one's appearance and physique at will. It could even disguise oneself as another person and pretend to be the real one. If one cultivated to the Great Mastery realm, they could even disguise their aura. It would be very difficult to distinguish them. That's good. Sanchi was excited. He had killed Liu and did not want to show his face for the time being. If he changed his identity, he could continue fooling around. Most importantly, he could change his appearance when he was courting death. This way, the risk would be greatly reduced. Coupled with the cloning technique and the alternative resurrection point, he could simply take off on the spot. Grinning, he took out the secret technique and memorized it. Among the other spells, there was a top-notch spell, 100 of Vines, which was a wood-type control spell. He could cultivate it, but if his cultivation nature was incompatible, the effect would be greatly reduced. Other than the 1000 Transformations technique, it's all wood and water attribute spells. It's the same for the cultivation techniques. It was a loss to kill you, Sanchi said to the ashes on the ground. He put the things away and came to the pool. He picked them up with his hands and drank a few mouthfuls. The spiritual chi is quite abundant. In the future, this place can be used as my temporary resting place. He turned around and strode out of the cave. With a bang, he was killed by the array formation. This time, when he died, his soul was destroyed. Sanchi obtained more than 100 array formation EXP. Before Liu died, he reversed two sets of array formations and aimed them at the interior. When Sanchi approached, he deliberately died 8 times in a row. The level of the array formation increased by more than 600 points in one go, raising the level of the array formation to 3rd grade. When he still wanted to farm rewards, the power of the array formation had been exhausted and no longer threatened him. Why couldn't you put in more spirit stones so that this can kill me for more than 9 times? Sanchi pursed his lips and skillfully formed 10 seals which shot out streams of essence energy. These essence energy transformed into runes according to the array formations rules, and quickly controlled the 2 sets of array formations here. In the unorthodox mechanical path of cultivation, which included forging, alchemy and array formations, they were all similar in nature and were all divided into 9 grades. Array formations were divided into 9 grades. Ranked cultivators in array formations could set up the lowest grade array formations. The array formations here were only 3rd grade, so he could naturally crack and control them. After controlling the array formation, he endured the pain and took out 10,000 low-grade spirit stones. He threw them into the array foundation and activated them again. He continued to die once and reached the limit of the basic reward of 10 times. Looking at the consumption of the spirit stones, 3,000 spirit stones had already turned to dust. This meant that the array formation had to consume many spirit stones to launch its strongest attack. The price for the attack was very expensive. Trash array formation. The spiritual energy consumption is so high. Sanchi could not help but think of the fuel consumption of cars in his previous life. However, this array formation was different from cars. The spiritual chi consumption depended on the quality of the array formation materials and the level of the array formation. The materials for this array formation are actually not bad. It's just that Liyu's standard in setting up array formations is not good. He really couldn't stand it anymore. He took out the array diagram that Liu had set up the array formation with and specially studied it before starting to adjust the array formation.